Arsene Wenger has been looking ahead to the game against Crystal Palace, but as you can imagine, the journalists weren't particularly interested in the game itself. They wanted to know about a potential deal for Alexis Sanchez going to Manchester United, Mkhitaryan heading in the opposite direction, and a possibility of seeing Aubameyang at the Emirates.
It can happen, it can as well not happen.
Really, still?
Yeah.
At that stage?
Yeah, at that stage, yes.
And obviously a part of the negotiations, it would seem, involves a player coming the other way, in Henrik Mkhitaryan. Is that your understanding as well?
My understanding, yes.
Well, to react to this news, I've got ESPN's Arsenal correspondent Matthias Karam with me. What do you make of what Wenger had to say today?
Well, you certainly get the sense that a deal is likely to happen at this point, with Alexis Sanchez going to Manchester United and Henrik Mkhitaryan coming to Arsenal in exchange.
And Aubameyang?
Wenger was pretty coy when talking about Aubameyang. He said it's better to keep those talks secret, but that's very far from a denial, and we do understand that there have been talks between the clubs. So I do think that Arsenal are looking to make that deal happen. I think they're waiting for the Alexis Sanchez situation to clarify first before they pull the trigger, though.
So if indeed Arsenal end up with Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan and lose Sanchez, do you think they'll actually be in a situation better off?
I think if they add both those players to their attack, then yeah, I think you would have to say that the sum of those parts will be greater than only having Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, Sanchez is a fantastic player, but Aubameyang is one of the top goal scorers in Europe, has been for the last several years. Mkhitaryan has struggled for form maybe lately at United, but he's still a fantastic playmaker. And if you can somehow fit those two players into the same lineup as Mesut Özil and Alexander Lacazette, then I think Arsenal have a front four that could rival any in England for sure.
Absolutely. There was a lot of talk about Jack Wilshere. He's really impressed fans upon his return, but we all know about his history in terms of injury. What do you make of what Wenger had to say about a new contract for him?
Yeah, it's clear that the two sides are both talking, and as Wenger said, obviously the club wants Jack to stay, Jack wants to stay at Arsenal, so at this point it seems to be just a matter of reaching a deal financially, and we've seen some reports that indicate that Wilshere might have to settle for taking a bit of a pay cut in his base salary for a contract that's more focused on incentives and him playing games and making appearances. And obviously from the club's point of view that makes sense given his history of long-term injuries, although for the player himself maybe that's less appealing. But I certainly think they will reach an agreement at some stage.
Okay, thanks for now. All the very latest on this game, keep it right here.
Is how it stands, certainly the latest suggesting that Manchester City won't pay any more than 20 million for the Chilean international. Manchester United willing to pay more than double that. The problem is Alexis Sanchez wants to go to Manchester City and not Manchester United. That basically are the facts if you believe the rumours.
Well, that's not around. But it's not a problem. It's not a problem. The player decides. It's not a problem, not an issue. It's Arsenal's problem now. Alexis Sanchez is well within his rights, as we know as players with contracts that are coming up or whatever. Sit tight. He sits tight to the summer and he gets the move he wants, as long as City still want him.
Do you understand why he would prefer to move to City than United?
100%. 100%. And I can also understand why supposedly Man City would put two fingers up to Arsenal.
Up in the price?
Up in the price, not selling them back in the summer when they wanted, and now playing hardball now. So they're prepared to say, we'll wait till the summer, even with an injured Jesus.
Right, Gab, when we're sat here on February the 1st, where's Alexis Sanchez going to be? Arsenal, City or United?
You love asking me these questions. They have a whole month to negotiate and figure things out. How can I answer that? I think he's going to be a City player eventually, but I think City have adopted exactly the right line. Gabriel Jesus is going to be back in mid-February. City are saying that we value him at this price. We'll take him at this price. I think they have a deal in place with the player already. Alexis Sanchez knows that he can move to City in the summer if he wants to, or he can sit there at Arsenal between now and the end of the season and kind of rest up. I mean, I think it's as simple as that. I think as far as United's offers are concerned, the understanding is that it's a better deal financially for Alexis Sanchez. But by the same token, and they were hoping to maybe stick somebody like Mkhitaryan in the deal as a part make weight so that Arsenal will get a player back. But, you know, you look at the situation right now, if you're Alexis Sanchez, it's a no-brainer. You go to Manchester City with the other proviso that should Sergio Aguero decide to move in the summer, boom, that center forward spot is yours.
Mkhitaryan to Arsenal. This, of course, has come about since the whole Alexis Sanchez to Man United rumours have been swirling, and that Mkhitaryan could be the make-weight in that deal. But, Craig, before you tell me if it's a good deal or not, if it does happen, what do you think's gone wrong with Mkhitaryan at Man United? I've heard everything from a lack of confidence or to just not fitting into that squad.
He hasn't always played in the right position. He also has never, to my knowledge, had a real long run of games. He's had a few, and then he's out. United are not playing as attacking as they have been under the Ferguson era. This is a different side to
very different
side to the Dortmund side that he played in as well. So it has been, and also the fact that there's been better players than Mkhitaryan have struggled in England just because of the way the game is played in the Premier League.
So do you think that he's just suited better for another league then, that maybe Arsenal?
Yeah, I do. I don't see Arsenal as a great move for him, and I don't see it as a brilliant move for Arsenal either. Yeah, it would potentially fill some numbers if Ozil and Sanchez go, and he is a swap for Sanchez plus some cash. But those two have found it difficult and frustrating at Arsenal, and they're better players than Mkhitaryan. Sanchez is a better player, Ozil's a better player as a World Cup winner, no matter what you think of him. Mkhitaryan's a talent, but I get the feeling he's better suited to going back to Germany, or maybe going to Italy, or going to Spain. I think that's probably where his talents are better suited in terms of the pace of the game, and he's just found it difficult in England. So I would be surprised if he's a make-weight in the deal
for Sanchez to Man United.
Arsenal. If Man United do that deal, I might be wrong. I don't know.
All right, so confusing times for Henrik.
Even confusing for me to say it.
Craig's quite confused. We're all confused in saying it. We'll see exactly where he ends up, but for now, Craig thinks that he is better suited outside of the Premier League.
Manage a 0-0 draw against Wolfsburg, and the big talking point from that game was the fact that Aubameyang wasn't included in the squad. This was a depleted squad in the first place. Big illness going through Dortmund. It finishes 0-0, and we're hearing now reports, Gab, that he didn't play because he could be on his way to Arsenal.
Dortmund manager Peter Stöger coming out and saying again that Aubameyang needs to mature, needs to grow up. I think this is the third time this season, if I'm not mistaken, that for disciplinary reasons he's missed games. And look, as people tried to peddle him everywhere all of last summer, I think they see the opportunity with Arsenal, obviously with Alexis Sanchez, possibly Mesut Ozil as well on their way. As I understand it, though, from Arsenal's end, remember they're also chasing Malcolm, the winger from Bordeaux, who's going to cost a pretty penny as well. And I'm also not 100% sure. Aubameyang these days is a center forward. They obviously already have Lacazette and Giroud. So I don't know how much of this is Aubameyang's people kind of driving the situation.
What do you think, boys? Does this make sense? It's interesting looking at his numbers, 21 goals in 23 games. I feel like we haven't talked about him much with regards to his scoring this season, but it's still pretty prolific.
Yeah, listen, the thing that worries me is why would they bring him in with never mind Giroud? Why are you going to spend that amount of money bringing somebody like him in who has a bad disciplinary record when things are going well? And if he's not going to play, which you want, because you got to, for me, you play Lacazette.
Lacazette's a better player?
I think he suits Arsenal better than Aubameyang.
He's not at the moment, though, is he?
Well, he's not. He's playing in a team that can't create a chance. So regardless of what the name of the back of your jersey, if you're centre forward for Arsenal right now, you're not going to be scoring a hat full of goals. But if you've got a guy like Aubameyang who's got disciplinary problems and he's not playing, you're asking for
for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, heavily linked to some people saying that it's pretty much a done deal for a move to Arsenal. What can you tell us the latest on this?
It's definitely not a done deal because Dortmund are yet to get a firm offer on the table. They understand that there's interest. The players very clearly interested. Dortmund are very close to the point where they feel it's going to be very hard for Aubameyang to be reintegrated into the squad after misbehaving a little bit. Having said all that, there's been a talk between him and Peter Stöger. They seem to have agreed that he's not going to do anything silly for the next few days. Also, I think in recognition that the Arsenal offer, hasn't come in and might never materialise, because who knows? If Arsenal get Mkhitaryan, if Arsenal can get Malcolm, maybe they don't need Aubameyang. So I think at the moment it's a waiting game. Dortmund are seeing what Arsenal will do, and I think they're in two minds, because on the one hand it's a great opportunity to cash in on a player that they're a little bit tired of. On the other hand, mid-January is the worst time to be looking for another centre forward. So even with 60 million euros, what are Dortmund going to do with it? So I think at the moment I would say this is more unlikely to go through than likely, simply because where Dortmund are in this.
How likely is it that he'd be a success at Arsenal, Raf?
I think this guy would be a success in most teams. I mean, I'm a big fan. I've been singing his praises on the show for a long time. There are problems with punctuality, with ill discipline, but on the pitch, he always delivers. I mean, the record of his goals speak for themselves. If you are pushing Lewandowski and sometimes doing better than him in the goal-scoring charts with a worse squad, you must be doing something right. It's not perhaps his greatest season, but then it goes for most of the Dortmund players. But I think with the right coach and the right team, he'd be amazing. Having said all that, I'm not quite sure how a front line with Giroud, Lacazette and Aubameyang is supposed to work. It looks a little bit strange to me to have these three guys all vying for positions. It doesn't seem like an automatic fit, I must say.
Favorite time of day? Well, my favorite time of day. It's rumor-rated time. Ale Moreno is joining me. He's going to try and crack some of these rumors. Aubameyang, no surprise that he's not exactly happy at Dortmund, and they're not 100% happy with him, dropping him for, disciplinary reasons. So would Arsenal be a good move for him, Ale?
He's been going for a while now. And the truth of the matter is he doesn't show up on time to training. If he shows up at all, he's been suspended. He wants to go. Dortmund want to move away from Aubameyang as well.
He's scoring goals, though.
He scores goals, and that's why you hang on to him. And if you're Arsenal, at this point, you're seeing your talent going away. You're seeing your season also going away. And so it feels perhaps that it's a necessary move for Arsenal. And in some ways, a desperate move for Arsenal, but it's what you need to do. You go after Aubameyang simply because he's available, and you're going to pay whatever you're going to pay in this transfer market. I think they both need it. Arsenal needs it. Aubameyang needs a change as well.
Two desperate parties coming together. If that doesn't sound like a hit, I don't know what is. Suso, back to Liverpool.
No.
Flat out.
No. Well, he said he doesn't want to go.
Yeah, he said he's happy.
So I don't know where the rumor is coming from, but I would tell you that he's fine in Milan. I think he wants to stay there. He's playing well there. And his last experience in Liverpool was not all that positive.
Alisson to Liverpool. We know Liverpool needs some goalkeepers. Sorry.
Why? What, Karius and Mignolet haven't been all that great? No, they haven't. Well,
trying to be nice here.
Yeah. Now, look, Liverpool need a goalkeeper. And Alisson is available. And there is this talk that he may be going somewhere. Well, I think we're sort of putting two and two together here, even though it doesn't quite add up to four. It's simply because Alisson may be going somewhere, but it may not be Liverpool, and it may not be in this transfer window either. Just because Liverpool needs a goalkeeper doesn't mean it's going to be Alisson. However, simply because this is a choice that I'm given, and Liverpool is desperate, it may just be that it happens.
Emre Can to Juventus.
He gone.
Gonski.
He gone. He gone.
End of story.
Well, he was offered a contract extension. He said, you know what? It's not you. It's me. I'm out. And so,
peace.
Take care.
Belotti to Atletico Madrid.
He was supposed to go to Atletico Madrid in that last transfer window, but Torino was holding on to this $100 million transfer fee that was never going to happen. And now Belotti is part of an Italian national team that is not going to the World Cup. So his stage has become a whole lot smaller. And so, in fact, he's not on the stage. And so to that end, I think he's running out of options. And it becomes Atletico Madrid as an option once again because we expect Antoine Griezmann to move on. I think this is going to happen perhaps in the summer.
Rafinha to Inter.
He gone as well. He gone. Well, he gone because where's he going to play?
He's not.
He's not even fifth choice at this point. And you look at Coutinho coming in. Paulinho's been done well. Iniesta is doing well. Andre Gomes still around. And when they have an option to play somebody in the midfield, instead of bringing him in, they bring Sergio Roberto in and play Semedo outside. He's gone. I don't know if it's to Inter, but he's gone.
And finally, Massimiliano Allegri to take over at Chelsea, because we know that Antonio Conte is probably having one foot out the door.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that Allegri is going to Chelsea. I think Juventus are more than happy with Massimiliano Allegri. He's done a wonderful job there. And I think Juventus understands what they have in Allegri. I just don't think that they're just going to let him walk out to Chelsea. Chelsea needs to find a manager simply because Antonio Conte seems unhappy, but I don't know that Allegri is the answer.
Two very unhappy people in this world, Antonio Conte and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh.
Maybe they can form their own team. Thanks so much to Ale Moreno. We make a good team. Continue tracking all of these rumors here at ESPNFC.com. We're not unhappy.
Sanchez. It's time for your Arsenal Alexis Sanchez update. The Manchester United deal seems to hinge on Henrik Mkhitaryan. 4.5 months ago, Shaka, this was £60 million. Now we're talking about a player who's got 18 months on his contract, but could it be the best situation for Arsenal if they can see this through?
It could be. First of all, it hinges on Mkhitaryan according to his agent, Mino Raiola. So take that for however you want it to mean. But assuming that this is true and this does go through, I think it makes a lot of sense. It all depends, from an Arsenal perspective, it all depends on City's interest. All reports are that is cooled significantly, whether that can be reignited, and whether Arsenal can play now what would then be 3 potential suitors in City, Manchester United, and Chelsea off each other, and how much they can get. Because keep in mind, he walks away for free in 6 months' time, and how much you value Henrik Mkhitaryan. I think Mkhitaryan comes into Arsenal. I think he adds something that they need. I still believe, despite his kind of stalling Old Trafford career, that he's a talented player that would grace the books of most clubs in the Premier League and in most leagues around the world. So it makes sense from that perspective. Arsenal have resigned themselves to losing Alexis Sanchez, be it now or in the summer. I think Alexis Sanchez equally goes to any of those teams and makes them better, gives them something different, gives them something that they can, in some instances, certainly the case of Manchester United, a player that they can build around. So I think it makes sense for United, regardless of what price they may have to fork out, both in terms of transfer fee and in terms of wages, because he is that good. And when big clubs need good players and you pay the price, and I have no problem with it. It makes perfect sense in Manchester United.
I should say Mkhitaryan having a bit longer on his contract. But in terms of with Alexis's choices, is it all about the money, right? If he's Manchester United, if he has to wait 6 months for Manchester City, but he can get the money now, and that's what we're led to believe has been the big stumbling block all along with Arsenal, why he wouldn't have re-signed over the last couple of years. Is he just best off going then?
No, well, he's best off leaving. I think it's not just about the money for Alexis Sanchez, not at Arsenal, Manchester United, or Manchester City, if those are the final 3. I think his frustrations with Arsenal grew because the club don't look like they're positioned to be challenging for major silverware. And a player of Alexis Sanchez's talents, that's where you want to go. That's the dressing room you want to be in. Now, as of right now, City are clearly the team best positioned out of everybody to recognize that significant silverware. So that might seem a significant fit. But even now, when you look at how good City are, and you question whether they need Alexis Sanchez, who he comes in for, is he going to be an automatic choice in the starting 11? You look at Manchester United, and those questions dissipate. You know he's going to be in that squad. You know he will be the first or second name on the team sheet. You know long term, you look at the likes of De Gea, Paul Pogba, and Alexis Sanchez as the 3 players up the spine that you build a team around. Now that equally is attractive. And in terms of just money, Neymar moved for the exact same reason in the summer. He felt going to PSG was where he wanted, where he needed to be, and have a club build a team around him. So you understand the difference is not just about money. It is about your position in the dressing room, how it affects, and your importance to that dressing room. So I fully understand, and no, it's not just about money.
Heck of a choice, isn't it?
It is.
And we'll see which one he decides to pick. Of course, Henrik Mkhitaryan could have a say. Is it all about Henrik? Apparently so, according to his agent. Keep it here at ESPN FC.
Modern football has created a kind of game where the best players in the world are regrouped to a very small number of clubs. That makes football less unpredictable. I respect Man United because they generate the money. They pay to the players by their own with their own resources. So you have to respect that. Overall, Manchester United is a club very well managed financially. There is no mystery that United and City have bigger financial resources. The financial resources become the biggest between the biggest clubs and the smaller clubs. This gap has increased in the last 5 years tremendously.